Idaho Democrats shared their own vision for the state. Andrew Vincent is here in studio with more on the priorities Democratic leaders are putting forward.
Well, Democratic leaders made it clear today that they see Idaho's biggest priorities differently from the governor. Democrats want the focus to be on funding public schools, expanding health care, and keeping public lands public. Senate Minority Leader Melissa Wintrow and other Democratic leaders outlined their plans during their response. One of the biggest focuses was to fully fund Idaho's public schools and keep taxpayer dollars out of private school programs.
This plan will not enable low-income families to suddenly go to fancy private schools. In other states where they have implemented this plan, around 80% of the recipients are the wealthiest people in the state who already have their kids in private school. But this is not opening the door to poor kids to go to private schools.
Leaders also talked about health care, saying they want to protect Medicaid expansion and improve access to care in rural areas.
On the health care front, Medicaid expansion is something that saves lives. The reality is, ending Medicaid would cost taxpayers more by forcing the uninsured Idahoans into emergency rooms without federal support to cover that care.
And they promised to protect women's health rights, including access to birth control and reproductive care.
Idaho's extreme abortion ban that's driven doctors out of our state and jeopardized care for all residents. And despite some claims from across the aisle, the current law lacks a clear health exception, leaving women at risk and physicians fearful of prosecution.
When it comes to Idaho's public lands, Democrats said they'll fight any efforts to sell them to private companies.
If there's one thing that draws the overwhelming number of the majority of Idahoans together of all political stripes, it is love for our public lands. And there's an effort right now, using their own taxpayer dollars, to litigate to the Supreme Court and try to get force the federal government to hand over those public lands. These lands that you hunt on, you fish on, you raft on, you camp on, you graze your cows on, it will be sold.
Now, the goal for Democratic leaders is to help Idaho families and protect the state's resources. But with Republicans in control of the legislature, it's unclear how much of their plan will gain traction. Reporting in studio, I'm Andrew Vincent.